Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. To clarify some misconceptions, this is coming from Anders here on Twitter. He's seeing some misconceptions that are being repeated over and over by the XRP community. So I know, some of you guys are probably feeling quite down. Your XRP position has not mooned yet. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Guys, it's going to take some time. Right now, an XRP is trading at around 57 cents as of the time of this recording. But, it hasn't helped that some people are circulating some, I don't know if it's so much FUD as it is just not knowing how, the XRPL works specifically, and theorizing on potential reasons why we're not seeing XRP pump, in the kind of way that we should be seeing it pump. Well, first off, David Schwartz never said that Ripple payments had failed and that they are moving into other areas instead because of said failure. So that is the first misnomer that we do have to clear up. David Schwartz also said things had been moving slower than expected with payments, but that they would keep trying and that payments would always be their main target. But they're also moving into other areas right now, largely because Ripple is a much larger company than it was in 2015, so they can focus on a lot more things at the same time. They have a lot more resources and employees now. So stop repeating that Ripple payments has failed and that they're moving away from it, because that's not what was said. So again, payments is Ripple's bread and butter. This is the big thing. This is the industry that they first targeted. They're doing very, very well in it. I mean, globally, overseas, we're seeing XRP utility, albeit not nearly as much as we'd hoped for, to get the XRP price up. But the liquidity is also a key factor in this. And this is why, one of the theories is suggesting that when we do see this bull run really take off, and when we do see, altcoins really kind of pop after Bitcoin does reach a new all-time high. Let's not forget, Bitcoin is not even near its all-time high yet, guys. When all that happens, and, I'm projecting the next 8, 9, 10 months, maybe 12 months, I don't know exactly. But once that happens, let's not forget the market cap will go past $2 trillion, way past it, I'm hoping. Some are predicting a market cap closer to $10 trillion. So when that happens, hopefully we do start to see some real world utility there. Of course, that's got to coincide also with, clearer regulations in the United States. Youngblood here saying, that particular notion isn't as broken as people make it out to be. I'm convinced Ripple payments will be successful in the long run, as I've chosen to set up infrastructure for facilitating the many facets of this market, not just payments. However, payments will come. Anders L says, yeah, right over the bullseye there. Plus, they were in a long lawsuit with the SEC that slowed them down considerably. Let's not forget that. Utility also saying, people don't care to go to the source of the information before drawing a conclusion. I'm convinced the majority of the Vocal X community are morons who have no desire to seek the truth. The video of David talking about this was taken so far out of context, and Anders also agrees with that. So, we do have to analyze what, the big players in the space are saying, but we should be looking at it at all angles and not jumping to conclusions right away. And then there's the whole issue of XRP being suppressed by dumping XRP into the ecosystem every month. Guys, we've already debunked that. If you didn't catch the video I did on that, I will link that up here in the top right-hand corner. I think I talked a little bit about it yesterday. I'll link yesterday's video up there. Digital Asset Investor bringing us another clip here of how Ripple is actually expanding globally. Guess who's about to put a dent in the universe? This is James Wallace, guys, VP of Central Bank Engagement at Ripple. Here he's talking about another Ripple partnership. Listen to this.
About the national bank and your relations regarding the digital Larry. Let me go the following way. What do you think? Why Ripple was chosen from the national bank as a partner in this quite ambitious project?
Yeah, well, firstly, we're very excited and proud to have been selected by the National Bank. It was quite a long process. I think we started talking to the team over 2 years ago. So there's been quite a long and thoughtful process. We took the time to really understand what the objectives were of this Digital Lari project. And it's a pilot, so it's
absolutely.
I would call it an advanced experiment on the way towards some real system. So we took some time, and I think ultimately there's probably 2 or 3 reasons why. I think the reasons why we were selected. Firstly is, ultimately we're the technology provider. Mm-hmm. We have developed technology specifically for CBDC, using technology based on blockchain. That technology has been actually used for more than 10 years, so it's sort of lower risk from that perspective because it's been used. And then also we, as a company, Ripple is about 11 years old, which is not very old compared to the country of Georgia, but for a fintech, it's fairly well established, and we've been running payment systems globally for 10 years. And then I think there was just a good alignment, culturally. We shared the objectives, and I see the specific details of this project that we have some experience, and hopefully we can demonstrate that with them. So a long answer, but a long process to get here.
But at the same time, can I consider the mentioned 2 or 3 reasons why Ripple was chosen by National Bank of Georgia as advantages what Ripple brings to the table, to the Central Bank of Georgia?
Yeah, so I think the one is the technology. I mean, at the end of the day, we're the technology partner. So we have proven technology that has been used in 10 or more other countries to do similar sorts of pilots. And then again, I think it's our experience, right? The fact that we took the time to sit down with the bank, understand their objectives, and we put together a comprehensive package. So we're helping them with all aspects of the project. The technology is the center, obviously, but we're bringing our experiences to Georgia.
So the technology is why the banks want to run on RippleNet, but they're bringing their experience to Georgia. Georgia, by the way, a country that is very crypto-friendly. So you can see why, these countries that they seem kind of random in some way, but because they already have the hammered out regulation, Ripple is moving in full steam ahead, wanting to work with, governments that, understand this, this new technology and that are fully compliant. So another great update there from James Wallace of Ripple discussing their new relationship with the National Bank of Georgia. So great news there. Wanted to thank Digital Asset Buy just for reminding us of that. Crypto Addy also bringing this up. Okay, guys, this was an older conversation, 2019. So when in doubt, when you're thinking about the fuddy comments that are coming from the XRP community as of late, you kind of have to step back and realize, look, there is a roadmap for this. And Eric Van Miltenberg, he's currently the Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives in Ripple. This was a conversation from 2019, and he pretty much explains here the strategy that Ripple is using for XRP, etc. Listen to this.
As I mentioned, we do hold a significant amount of this digital asset called XRP, and we will, on occasion, sell some of that into the market. That one generates some incremental funding for us, but it also helps create more liquidity in the whole ecosystem for that digital asset. I won't get into the weeds in terms of how some of our products work, but having liquidity in markets around the world for XRP is a big part of what will make our products over time successful. Serves a dual purpose. We measure our success not on the price of XRP, but on how much value we're delivering to these financial institutions. That's largely a function of, are they using our technology to move money around the world? And that curve is going up into the right really nicely. So that's what really gives us a lot of energy.
So it's going to be about how much XRP utility is going to be used worldwide. And, the more demand for XRP obviously means the price is going to get higher. At that point in time, we weren't seeing not nearly as much as we are today. However, even today, we're not seeing the kind of XRP volume that, many of us had been hoping for. But, we're still in a spec market. And as David Schwartz did say yesterday, the moves that we're seeing for XRP are based on this spec market, are based on what Bitcoin's doing. So no need to worry quite yet, guys. It's, the good news for us, very, very predictable price moves for XRP. When we take a look at the Bitcoin price and how Bitcoin is moving, how XRP is moving. I talked a little bit about that this morning. Let me just bring up Bitcoin real quickly here to see if anything has changed, really. But, as I was saying, Bitcoin made that V kind of pattern over the last several days since about Wednesday, and XRP similar in price moves. I removed that from the chart, but you guys can see the V pattern there. So, just quickly, roughly, XRP still following Bitcoin in terms of its trend movements. Whether we see more volatile swings for XRP, which in this case we are, that is dependent on a lot of other things involved. But ultimately, guys, the entire crypto market is still moving alongside Bitcoin, but we could see that change in the very, very near future. I think XRP utility building through more liquidity in this spec run could in fact bring more partners to the table and more people utilizing XRP. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So I wanted to thank Sento Sumo Saba just for posting that. Guys, we've also got Perianne Boring here. Unfortunately, another blow to the crypto industry, the SEC's latest dealer rules could have devastating impacts on DeFi and represent yet another barrier, preventing American businesses from competing in the global digital economy. This is a criticism from Perry Ann Boring, brought to us by Good Morning Crypto. Listen to this.
So there's a lot of games being played in terms of who's going to win this jurisdictional war. But ultimately, the dealer rules and the final rules were published just this week would be absolutely devastating for our economy here in the United States. The future of finance, the future of the digital economy is all going to be built on blockchains. And if American businesses and institutions don't have a workable regulatory environment to be able to build, invest, and develop in this ecosystem in the United States, where does that leave us? Where does that leave us on the global stage? How does that allow our institutions to be able to compete in a global economy? Where I personally am today is very worried for the future of the United States and our financial system, as well as our fintech ecosystem. And it's because of rules like this that do not take into account the unique nature of the digital asset ecosystem, of blockchain technology, of decentralized and distributed systems. And it's extremely frustrating and potentially can have devastating effects to our economy.
So is it because of government's incompetence? Is it because of their lack of knowledge? Or is it because of something bigger? Now, I mean, we've talked about ETHgate. We've talked about all those other factors, the more conspiratorial decisions that have been made at the top to kind of suppress cryptocurrency. I know governments are probably trying to buy themselves time, and not just in the United States, and other countries too that are trying to regulate very quickly. It is preventing American businesses, though, from competing in the global economy. I mean, when we've already got countries like Georgia and, well, many others around the world. El Salvador is another one that wants to become crypto compliant. We've got Slovenia, another one, Switzerland, some in Europe, many in Asia. You know, we've got this landscape now, and it's a bit of a checkered pattern of where we're seeing full crypto adoption, some crypto adoption, and very, very little crypto adoption. I feel like, you know, all these countries do want to get on board at some point, but, you know, we're still kind of at the mercy of governments around the world. And unfortunately, the U.S. government is very much dragging their heels and being left behind. Now, we could see that pick up. European financial institutions are picking up the pace. This one coming from Michael Branch here, guys. Post Finance is now creating new opportunities in the crypto custody landscape, and they are collaborating with Sygnum, which does also have a Ripple connection, was one of those banks that had XRP transfers, I believe, available in the early days. This is a crypto-centric bank. This partnership aims to provide digital asset services through Sygnum's B2B banking platform. And if you guys didn't see the video I did on Ripple and their B2B initiative, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. The B2B banking platform of Sygnum Bank, though, offers a possibility, to launch, you scroll back down there, to launch initiatives like that of Post Finance and to continuously expand regulated products and services of bank-grade digital assets. Post Finance, with over 2.5 million customers, thus becomes the first Swiss bank of systemic relevance to introduce regulated trading and custody for 11 cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. And my guess there is that that list does include XRP as well, considering Sygnum Bank did include XRP in the early days. Thanks to Sygnum's B2B banking, over a quarter of the Swiss population and more than 15 partner banks and international financial institutions will be able to benefit from innovative and secure cryptocurrency products at low costs. The goal of Post Finance is to offer secure access to the crypto market on favorable terms for its 2.5 million customers. So 2.5 million, not a lot in the grand scheme of things. Nevertheless, guys, every little bit counts. In every part of the world, we need to see, you know, more avenues for people to adopt cryptocurrency and to be able to utilize cryptocurrency and, you know, to educate people too on cryptocurrency, because many people still don't understand what Bitcoin is, what XRP is, and how, you know, different currencies, different cryptos are going to affect the financial landscape moving forward. Now, BRICS is also part of this evolving story. This one from Colin Brown here. Big news alert, BRICS nations gearing up to unveil a gold-backed trading currency. Watch this clip and then we're going to discuss.
The BRICS group is set to introduce a new currency backed by gold, in contrast to the credit-backed US dollar, with countries lining up to join the growing initiative.
The BRICS countries are planning to introduce a new trading currency which will be backed by gold. More and more countries recently expressed desire to join BRICS.
The decision comes a month ahead of scheduled Alliance Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. 41 countries have since shown their interest in BRICS membership and its new currency implementation. Russia's foreign ministry has stated that if African states show enthusiasm, the group's expansion may also be on a Russia-Africa summit's agenda in the end of July. As of now, the BRICS group remains comprised of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Former Statistician General of South Africa, Pali Lehola, says the gold-backed currency will facilitate the advancement of developing countries.
Avoiding using the gold standard, we have gone for almost 45 years now, since 1980 when this was dropped. And we have seen the consequences, particularly of this to the developing countries, when the dollar was adopted as a standard and gold not as such. Yet against that, there's been accumulation of gold in the developing world. South Africa had a much stronger currency when the gold standard was still in force. By going the gold standard by many countries, that many African countries, of course, have, this will be of great benefit to strengthening the currency, the single currency that is backed by gold. It will facilitate development. Because after all, currency is the quantity of material things that societies have. If you use another currency based on material wealth or material things you don't have, it means that you are at the mercy of that country, and and they will charge commissions and the like.
BRICS nations are adopting gold very, very quickly, and for good reason. You know, if there's a gold-backed trading currency this year, that would behoove all of the BRICS countries. Of course, they want to stop relying on the U.S. dollar. A lot of them have, sworn off the U.S. dollar already. If you guys didn't catch that interview that Tucker Carlson did with Vladimir Putin, you already know that Russia and China are already doing quite a large quantity of their trading in their own national currencies, leveraging DLT technology, from what I'm assuming. Now, what does this mean, guys, for the global economy? What does this mean for everything that we've known? The powers that be running the show, running the central banks. Well, here's another indication that the economy is in trouble. Good Morning Crypto bringing this to our attention. Bill Gates dumps his entire portfolio. Historically, billionaire moves of this scale hint at an impending market crash. So here's just a synopsis of all the stocks that Bill Gates sold. He did only reduce 3 positions, and those were the Microsoft position, Deere & Co., and Berkshire Hathaway was reduced by 2.74, 9.20, and 11.60 respectively. But everything else, guys, he sold 100% of his positions, and it's not just Bill Gates. It's multiple billionaires that are selling their positions. On top of which, guys, Dawdler for XRP sent me this. Could we be in for a huge market collapse by March 11th? Now, this was from Nature Girl. Fed bailouts do end March 11th. I'm going to play you guys a little clip of this. Not going to play you the full thing, but I will link it in the description of the video for you. Then we're going to talk about it. Watch this.
Remember when the Fed bailed out the banks? Well, that bailout ends March 11th, next month. What that means is that the banks have to start paying back their loans. The very spooky part of this is we've continued to see banks around the country collapse, even with the bailout. So what happens when it goes away and they are required to pay this money back? I think this very well could be the explanation for why we see so many billionaires selling off all their stocks. It's important to understand the way that this bailout worked. When the Fed started raising interest rates, bond prices dropped, and as bond prices fell, the value of the bank asset portfolios crashed along with them. Typically, the amount banks can borrow is based on the current market value of those bonds. But what the Fed did is allow the banks to borrow as if the value of the bonds had never dropped. Here's where things get very sketchy. This allowed the banks to borrow way more than they should have borrowed. So essentially, again, we have another falsely created bubble.
So a huge red flag, I've got that article up here. The bank bailout program established by the Federal Reserve in the wake of last spring's banking crisis is scheduled to shut down on March the 11th. So if these banks cannot pay back their loans, this could spell some big trouble. The Federal Reserve created the Bank Term Funding Program after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. And guys, if you remember, that just happened last year. And Signature Bank last March, allowing banks to easily access cash to help assure banks have the ability to meet the needs of all their depositors. As one would expect, the balance in the program surged initially as banks tapped into the bailout, but borrowing never stopped. As you can see from the chart, borrowing leveled out in August before a sudden spike in November. So guys, here's the chart here, just demonstrating how the borrowing just kind of spiked, leveled out, and then spiked again near the end of last year and into the early part of this year. Keep in mind that banks were still tapping into bailouts even as the total balance in the program plateaued. Some banks were paying off loans as others borrowed. Were banks borrowing from the BTFP because a financial crisis was still bubbling under the surface as they needed a bailout? Or are they taking advantage of a sweetheart deal inadvertently created by the Fed? That is hard to tell. But if this does crash, if we do see, some kind of cataclysmic event where banks can now no longer pay off these loans because they've been borrowing too much, could this mean that the writing is on the wall? Is this why we're seeing, stocks being sold off at an alarming rate? I believe, too, that Jeff Bezos was also another one of these billionaires who has been selling off his stock, Amazon stock at that, if my memory serves me correctly. So let's keep going because, guys, this clip now, more meaningful than ever from Chad Steingraber. Maybe this will start to make more sense. Remember what Jim Rickards said a few years ago?
Is preparing to realize that vision. They've literally rigged the laws of international finance. Everything is basically in place right now, and there's essentially no way to stop this from happening. When the crisis hits, they'll flip the switch, freezing the global financial system. That will give them time to reset the world economy according to their vision. As the coming crisis unfolds, President Trump will be powerless to stop it. In fact, trying to stop them would probably weaken the president's power altogether.
That is amazing, Jim, really. So what did these elites want from your contact at BlackRock?
Basically, they want to classify BlackRock as too big to fail. The technical term is Systemically Important Financial Institution, or SIFI. That designation normally applies to banks, such as Bank of America.
Just a short clip here of Jim Rickards essentially saying, and this was when Trump was in the White House, that these guys know the writing is on the wall, that they are trying to create controlled demolition, right? A great reset. We've talked about this concept in the past, but now that we're seeing banks needing to repay their loans by March the 11th, could the writing be on the wall? Billionaires are dumping stock at an alarming rate. Is it possible that we could, in fact, begin to see XRP utility flow through the system, maybe in an emergency capacity? We've heard this theory being floated many times before, but, it's all going to come to a head, and eventually people will lose their shirts, unfortunately. I don't know if you guys caught the Jim Rickards clip when he was discussing ICE 9 as well. When all assets would be iced out, I don't know if I can find a video. I did a video on this, I think, a couple of years ago, and I'll see if I can find it. I'll try to link it up here in the top right-hand corner. If this is a topic that you guys are interested in, so March the 11th, guys, that is the date to be looking at. Crypto Bull here saying this. I kind of wanted to end this off on a positive note. Let me tell you what will happen with XRP over the next months. Some will sell too early, making some money. A few will sell around $10, making a lot of money. And most will start buying above $10, making little to no money, and most likely ending up losing their money. Sean McBride, though, responding to this, I don't think you will ever have to sell your XRP. Consider this with relation to the automated market makers and perhaps a new financial system that could be the result of the old financial system crashing down. So will we see more American banks collapse by March the 11th? All eyes are on the prize, guys, and in my opinion, still a very, very appealing price point to purchase XRP. I'm not purchasing any more. My bags are full, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 100,000 by March the 31st. And if you're looking to keep your crypto safe on a Ledger Nano, I'm going to be giving 2 away for free. You don't have to buy anything. All you have to do is subscribe to Working Money Channel on YouTube before March the 31st, and you are eligible automatically. All my subscribers are eligible to win a free Ledger Nano. Going to be giving 2 away in early April. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.